Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rick Schisler. I'm your host, and I'm also the founder of OneBestConsult.com. Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Business Hour. I think we've got a good show lined up for you today. Visit with some interesting folks, hopefully provide you information and education that possibly you can use in your own business even today. So stay with us. The show runs almost an hour. I know that's a long time perhaps for some, but our main goal is to give you information that you can use in running your own business wherever you're located. So please, let's do that. Listen, and we'll do what we can to make your life easier, better, more successful. We're broadcasting live today from the studios of Lone Star Community Radio, which is located in downtown Conroe, Texas, Montgomery County. What is Lone Star Community Radio? For those that don't know, it's a community radio station that serves generally Montgomery County, Texas, just about 35 miles north of Houston. And community radio, we are a nonprofit. I'm a volunteer. Any of the other shows, if you take a listen to them, the people are all volunteers, and we fundraise to fund the community radio station, which we think is important because it allows people that live in this area to check in on the community, see what's going on, to talk about issues if they're those, or in this case, to get an education they might not otherwise get. So remember, Lone Star Community Radio, check it out at irlonestar.com. That's irlonestar.com. Quick thought of the week: we're trending on Washington. Ever since the last week of April, I believe we kind of take a quick look at Washington because it just seems it's in the news all the time now with something that impacts eventually our own businesses right here on Main Street. And so we got to kind of keep an eye on it. A lot of it's laughable. This past week, Jerry Epstein and all the nonsense that he brought to the table, back in the news. Can you imagine? After that has been, how many years? But the politicians are just, they're all over it. It's amazing. To me, it's laughable. But I wish they'd pay more attention to issues that would have a direct positive impact on our country and its citizens. So, and as I always say at the end of every show, and I've done it for 11 years now, remember, stay engaged and always keep your focus on what counts in your business. Don't worry about Jerry. He's gone. Worry about what's happening in your neighborhood, your community, your business, your family. Focus on those issues. I want to let you know also, a reminder to those that might be new to as a listener, the show is broadcast on YouTube. So if you'd like to watch, because video's included on YouTube, as well as listen, just go to YouTube, find the Weekly Business Hour page, and you punch a button on there and you can watch as well as listen. Also, a general reminder to you, if you have questions, thoughts, constructive criticisms about the show, about a guest, or a question for that guest, or myself, just send me an email. It's real simple. It's Rick, R-I-C-K, at irlonestar.com. That's Rick at irlonestar.com. And yes, I do respond to each and every email that comes to me. And as our regular listeners will note, we even have a segment from time to time called the mailbag, where we answer on air somebody's business question, something they're experiencing in their business. So we put it out there, we talk about it, and oftentimes we solicit comments about it. So please send us an email, stay in touch, become part of the community that surrounds not only Lone Star Radio, but the community for the weekly business hour. Well, we've got a wonderful guest with us today to start things off, Shelly Castle. Shelly is the owner and CEO of Impeccable Rideshare. Shelly, what a wonderful name, Impeccable. Where did you get the word impeccable?
Well, I had started my LLC with Inc. Authority, and I told them I wanted a name that means magnificent, means awesome, because I'm an awesome person, and I was always that unforgettable experience and that party limo or party Uber, party Lyft, rideshare driver, and I wanted something that meant great, magnificent, grand. And they just gave me a list and they kept going down. And when they said impeccable, I was like, that sounds great. That sounds magnificent. And I said, let's go with that. I was like, I am impeccable, Miss Impeccable over here.
Well, it's interesting to me, and I'm not meaning to kid or smile or laugh, but Impeccable, you probably are the only business in this country, maybe the world, that has the word impeccable in its name. So It really does show off who you are. It's a great descriptor. And those are the kind of things in small business that a lot of people don't pay attention to when they name their business. And it's so important to have a name that grabs attention. And your name grabs attention. There's no doubt about it. Kudos to you for that. Tell us a little bit. You mentioned rideshare and you just kind of went through different vehicles. Give us a little bit of background and business history about Impeccable Rideshares.
Okay. Well, basically, I started in 2022 in January, and, I was doing Uber and Lyft, and I didn't know I was going to get my own business, but, I didn't know I was going to be big. I thought I was just going to be a limo driver and just doing it by myself and have the party vibe. And I was like the only party black SUV limo driver you're going to find in Houston that had the party vibe, but also just the business vibe, cut it off for the business people. Well, people seen my social media. I just started doing my own social media, do everything on my own still currently, but I have a lot of great support system. And I didn't know I was going to be this high-end fleet service that I'm going for now, where I want to get my own grand storefront, employees, impeccable vehicles, impeccable service, safety number one. And that's where I want to go. And I do want to franchise out, get multiple locations. I didn't know I was going to be an amazing, dynamic author along the way and get put into so many magazines that I've been put into, and just people just giving me free services and helping me for free along the way.
Well, that's fantastic. It's interesting because so many times people start a business and they have a direction or a goal, and it does change along the way. But you started it, I believe you said 2022, so it's only a few years ago. So
Yes.
in just 2 to 3 years, your business seems like it really has taken off in a new direction.
Yes.
And what do you attribute that to? I mean, what's the number one thing that puts you in that position?
I guess just seeing that I can be somebody and just changing my whole mindset and seeing that I started inspiring another person's life. That's what motivated me to go big and not to just think about myself and staying just as a solo limo driver. People seeing that I had the vibe, they wanted party buses, I didn't have them. So other drivers told me that I need to go out there and partner with some party bus companies. And that's what I did, and build up that clientele and help me make it happen.
So the way you handle or finance, if you will, using that word loosely, some of the additional services and types of vehicles is you partner up with folks?
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense. How do you maintain the quality control? Because you're impeccable.
Yes. Well, I definitely only use Impeccable services. So a company that I actually met the owner, met the drivers, see the vehicles, see the service that they provide, and continue providing. I always follow up with all my clients on the party buses that I don't currently have, but that I want, and get my own drivers and make sure that they had an impeccable experience. And I gain and try to grab those reviews. All about Google reviews because it's very important. It matters in a business. And I just hit over 200. So I got like 202 Google reviews.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Let me ask you about that follow-up. What does that consist of? Do you send a note? Do you call them on the phone? Send them a text? What do you do as a follow-up?
Well, mostly I text because a lot of people text and you can just shoot a text. But if I can't get a hold of them by text, I call them personally or try to follow up with them some other kind of way I can get a hold of them.
So your goal is make sure you make that connection.
Yes, make that connection and hear their actual opinion on how the services went.
Yeah, I think that's
Yes.
the way it should be done.
Yes.
But most often it's a postcard in the mail or something,
Right.
or an
Right.
email that's, just a copy of the email you sent out yesterday twice, and it just keeps going on.
Yes.
Same message, possibly stale at that point. So that's interesting. That really is interesting. What do you think in general has been the key to your success thus far?
I would just say my go-getterness, just my desire for success, and I'm just starving. I'm literally dying of hunger, to have success. Not starving, and of hunger just to make it. I want that success. I want to be that millionaire, billionaire, trillionaire where, just like Ivan Sanchez with the Houston Millennials told me on Saturday night when I did this event for him. He said, "See you at the top." I said, "I'm going to see you at the top and we're going to be there together." And he told me that. He's like, "Shelly, I want to see you at the top." I said, "I'm going to see you at the top."
It's interesting. You challenge within your group, so to speak, your peer group.
Yes.
Challenge each other. It sounds like a very positive way. And the motivation that you create, as you say, you're going to make it happen. And so the belief in oneself is obviously so important in that constant situation. Your background, your formal education you received, has any of that helped you in building and operating your business?
No, to be honest, it didn't have anything to do with this. Like, I didn't even know I was going to be an entrepreneur. And it's all about my book and Spread the Word. I'm Making It Happen by Shelly Castle in English and Spanish on Amazon, and it's on Barnes & Noble. Basically, the story, I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, dirt poor poverty, born with right after I was born, I had a disability, middle child syndrome, just my whole family dynamic, single motherhood, working 2 to 3 jobs, working the jobs, just over broke for someone else, making them a brighter future, working 80 to 120 hours a week, my whole life for an ungrateful kid, of course, and basically didn't want to be here no more, lost it all during COVID, and just told God, just take me out of this world. I'm done. I'm through. And finally, I just commanded God. I said, "You take me right now, or you give me a passion and a reason to live." And he changed my life around in 2022 and told me to do it, start my own company, make it happen, and shine my light brightly on this world. I just didn't know I was going to be shining it this brightly. I didn't know I was going to change my whole total mindset completely and become this whole new person, this whole new woman.
Well, that's an amazing story. And I want to stop just a second. If you'll hold that book up to the camera there. The title?
Is Spread the Word, I'm Making It Happen.
And that's available on Amazon?
Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
And Barnes & Noble. I encourage people to take a look at it. And I appreciate you offering me a copy of it. Because it sounds like you've had a very, very interesting journey thus far in your career. I think I heard you say something about you've said you're a single mom and you were working multiple jobs. We've all heard that story and seen or known people that were in that situation. But I thought I heard you say that your child didn't appreciate what you're doing.
He doesn't. He's not really a part of my life. He don't accept that I became an entrepreneur. He told me to get a job. I said, "Kid, I'd have to get 4 jobs." And he don't want my happiness. He didn't approve of me being an author. When I told him I was going to be an author, he said that was the stupidest thing that I could have ever done and that nobody was going to buy my stupid book. He told me those exact words. And I told him, I said, you know what, kid, this book is not stupid. And it's so powerful that millions of people are going to buy my stupid book and it's not stupid. I said, it is just incredible what My Story Biographies, which is the publisher that found me, which I didn't know I was going to be an author just from getting in multiple magazines, been in over 40 magazines, and been offered to be in over like 500 magazines. Someone's referred my story to this publisher, said, y'all need to get Shelly's story, help her make it happen, get her story out there. And we manifested the book, and millions of people are inspired by this book. I want to get it into the movies. I want it to be the next pursuit of happiness. That's what they told me it's like. The next pursuit of happiness, the most uplifting memoir. And I won Author of the Year for the best memoir. And I'm going to California in October to claim my award, meet some celebrities, some famous authors, make some more connections, and make it happen.
Well, that's wonderful. That's quite a stumbling block, though, when you're a single mom and you get that resistance, if you will, from your children, or in your case, a child. That's got to be quite a hurdle for you to get over. But
it is. I just had to learn. People told me when I went to go see Grant Cardone in April 2024, it was the best thing ever. It gave me that extra push. Him and his team said, even the people that you love most can hurt you the most, and you have to eliminate them. You can still love him from afar, which I will always love him unconditionally, no matter what. But in order for me to move him, I had to move past it. I had to let him go, live his own life, let him find God, let him see, and hopefully someday he'll come back. But a lot of times, a lot of families don't come back. They don't never talk, never reconnect. And that's just the way it is. And I had to be willing to accept that and move on for myself and my future, because otherwise I wouldn't be here today. I'd be down in the dumps. I would have been gone. God would have took me, and I wouldn't be here inspiring and being this magnificent person that I am, and that I'm even going to be more magnificent and impeccable by keep inspiring and get my grand storefront, because someone's going to help me make it happen. And I want to give. It's not for me, for millions of dollars in my pockets, but it's to be able to give people jobs, feed the community, feed families, inspire, impact the community, change lives, keep the community safe first and foremost, and just be an inspiration to the world. That's what it's about.
Well, the world definitely needs inspiring people all over the world, at least from what I see on a day-to-day basis. Well,
Yes.
You've had all these challenges and hurdles to get over. And most folks that start business have a challenge or a hurdle or hurdles or to get their business up and running, and then turning it into a success, whatever they have envisioned as a success. On a day-to-day basis, what's the biggest challenge you face?
I would say just the biggest challenge is just getting money, that energy coming in. Because with this economy, I went from doing really good down to zero, no business whatsoever. But no matter what, I never stop. I keep grinding. I keep doing sponsorships. I keep putting myself out there, keep getting out there, working, hustling just to pay bills. But I never give up. I never lose faith. But that's the biggest challenge, is getting the financial resources when you come from nothing and you're going to something. I didn't have a dime to my name when I started my company. Started with $700, but I did it, and I said I was going to do it, and I'm doing it. I'm winning, and I'm going to win.
Well, that's another wonderful story. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. And please stay with us. When we come back, we're going to talk further with Shelly and talk about her business and the different pieces of her puzzle that she's put together in developing her services. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gold Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas ticket.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to the Weekly Business Hour. I'm Rick Schisler. I'm your host. I'm also a Silver Fox Advisor, which is a group of men and women. We finished our main career track, and we want to continue working with businesses, and basically small businesses, even though a number of us came from the corporate world. In fact, some of my colleagues at the Silver Fox had jobs that were way up there. But the key thing is they're all smart people, and I really enjoy them. And if you want to connect with a great group and have access to just wonderful people that can help you in your business in so many ways, go to the internet, go to silverfoxadvisors.org or silverfox.org, and that will take you to the website. They have events. I've got a lunch and learn coming up, I guess, at the end of the month with the Better Business Bureau, doing a program. So there's always speakers, all kinds of things going on around the city which Silver Foxes are involved in, sharing their wisdom and their experiences. So please check out the Silver Foxes at silverfox.org. Well, Shelly, you've given us a little bit of background. You've been kind enough to share your motivation and how it has seen you through at least the initial stages of a startup business, and started up more or less during COVID, which was a challenge, probably more of a challenge than it should have been to a lot of people. But anyway, we won't go back there. Your business, what does Impeccable Rideshare offer to its clients? I know you have the party bus, I guess that's the right word.
Yes.
You got limousine services. Kind of give us the width and breadth of the services you offer.
Okay, well, we offer limousine service like black SUV, chauffeur service to the airport transportation. Also, we do party buses. We have charter buses. We have Sprinter vans. We have 4 different styles, like the CEO style for like VIPs and company CEOs, like need transportation anywhere. We have all different types of stretch limos. So we have stretch limos, Hummer limos, and like the Escalade limos that are stretch, the brand new models, 2025. We have shuttle buses as well. We have black SUV luxury drivers, which is like me. And basically any vehicle you need, I would be able to get it for you. We're about taking care of you, putting you first. And that's how we provide impeccable services. And also, we are listed on the Better Business Bureau. I just got us on there, and I'm woman certified with the Women's Business Enterprise Alliance. So I am
fantastic.
certified.
Did you just curious? Did you submit an application for this year's Pinnacle Award at BBB?
Yes.
Did you?
I did, and I'm just waiting to hear. I didn't have the money to buy the ticket, to go to the award ceremony yet. So I'm not sure if I'll get to go to it if I did win the award, but they haven't told me, if we won or not. So I don't know.
Well, let me give you an inside tip. The people that grade those applications are the Silver Fox advisors. So
Okay.
I would say myself, I'm not involved this year for various reasons, but for almost 20 years, we all pitch in and grade those applications, which are multiple, at least 2 different people grade them. So there's 200 and some people have applied. So it's a big deal, really big deal.
Yeah. Okay.
So I've been in businesses that actually won it. And it was front and center for anybody that came in the business. They were so proud, which they need to be.
Right.
So I congratulate you on applying. And if you don't win this year, keep going at it just like you do everything else, and you'll get there.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it in my mind. Well, let me ask you this. Impeccable Services, Impeccable Rideshares, your client base with the word impeccable, and we've talked about that, meaning you, in my mind, one of the things it means is you provide the best service and situation and experience. What is the biggest strength that you bring to the table for your clients? What sets you apart from the other limo, I don't know what the industry as a whole, but what sets you apart from your competition?
Well, definitely being a woman in business and bringing that woman's touch. So that definitely sets me apart. And I'm always innovative and changing and just doing things different, because everybody can just do the same thing and get the same results or get different results or get no results. But I'm all about safety. So safety is number one. I try to maintain brand new vehicles, safe vehicles, well maintained vehicles, safe drivers. And I'm big about being not on time, but early. If you're on time, you're late. And that's what represents me. I've had other limo drivers tell me that's the one thing they can say about Shelly. She's never late. Other limo drivers have been late or they've had to call an Uber for their clients. That is not acceptable to me. If you have a client and they paid, you show up and you show out and you show up early, not on time. I'm always early. So that's how I set myself apart. And I'm always doing little things to go above and beyond. So if you wanted anything special in your ride, no matter if it's business or personal, what the occasion may be, a wedding, a birthday, a celebration, a company celebration, a retirement party, a company birthday party, a company grand opening, a kid's prom, there's homecoming season coming up, football season, any special decoration, you wanted some wine, some champagne, anything extra in your car, I'm willing to do that plus more. And then also I offer the red carpet treatment for my rides.
That must keep you busy.
Yes.
I mean, on any individual. Now, different segments of your business, you went down a list of 6, 8 different one at least. Which one is your highest revenue generator?
Well, right now, everybody's wanting party buses. And of course, I don't currently have my own. So I contract everything out through my party bus partner, which is totally spectacular, amazing. And we're like family. He's truly supportive of me. He's like, Shelly, just keep going, keep pushing, But just like I said, that's the total, where I'm getting the most money is the party buses, because they're booking them for all kinds of things. And it's all about word of mouth business. That's where I've gotten it so far. But I really want to get some contracts like with this WBEA, Women's Business Enterprise Alliance, and with the World Cup. But you got to have that energy. You got to have that money to get those contracts. Like right now, Dynamo's called me. They want to do a partnership, but they said it's $20,000 a year. I got to get $20,000 to do the partnership, and they advertise you at the games. They do your social media. They would be managing all that for me. They blast you out on all their social media. You get to meet all the partnerships that they have, all the companies, the big companies that are partnering with them,
right,
that need your services. They actually connect you with companies that actually need your services directly. Like, let's say if there was ExxonMobil there, that did a partnership with Dynamo, I would get connected with ExxonMobil because they need my transportation services for their employees and company going to and from the airport or company events and whatnot. Even long distance travels. We'll take you to Louisiana, Dallas, Austin, company conferences, company headquarters. We'll take you wherever you want to go.
That's interesting, that making obviously those connections as you build your business. And I suspect your biggest challenge in those cases would probably be maintaining your margins, because you pay, in this case example, you pay $20,000 to get in, and can you generate the revenue
Right.
that would support that type of investment, just like any business decision where you're spending money.
Right.
What's your ROI, return on investment? I mean,
Right.
it's very interesting, and a decision I'm sure that is challenging to make. I have heard that you outsource your work. You've said that several times today, directly,
Yes.
indirectly. How do you maintain quality control over the outsourced part of your business?
I mean, it's hard to maintain, but just like I said, I trust and I know the people that I'm dealing with, and I see them and I know them and I see them out there. So I know that they're maintaining their vehicles. Otherwise they wouldn't be representing me. And I had one person that didn't meet that representation, that expectation. So I definitely will eliminate them and not give them business if they ever fall short of what I'm about and what I'm representing, because you're representing me and my company and what all I put into my company, all this hard work. So anytime I get any constructive feedback from any customer of mine, just like I said, I'm always following up. I take it serious because I've worked so hard and I've done this all by myself.
Well, the idea, I thought about what you had shared with us earlier about your follow-up method, your process, which is it's a heck of a great process. I mean, not a lot of businesses that I've come across in my career, go to that extent. It's a real personal touch because you're focused on the connection. You got your eye on the ball of that versus just getting some
Money.
Google deal or,
Right.
where they just 5-star or 4-star, whatever,
Right.
And I think that's important because that will, particular with your upper end customers, probably carry a lot of weight in their future decision making and referral.
Yeah, it's all about the referrals. I want
Yeah.
their word of mouth referrals. I want them to use me every time and to come back to me. And I want them to send me people, I
Right.
need business. I need success.
One of the things that I come across quite often is, and it's difficult for some reason for a business, a small business, whatever, startup or one that's in business, to define who their customer is and what they need to do, what they need to invest in to actually support those customers. In other words, you're impeccable, you're high end, so to speak.
Right.
So when you go to, for example, to look for a partner in a certain segment of business, they may or may not be at the high end.
Right.
So when you outsource to them, I mean, that's a real challenging scenario on a day-to-day operational basis, I would think.
Right. And I did have some, just like I said, some challenges with that, but I eliminated it and I make sure that my partner is where I want to be. He's high end. He's definitely about maintaining his vehicles. He's definitely has full insurance just like I do. So I do make sure, that they're impeccable as well.
I think that, like I said, my experience has been a lot of businesses, small businesses particularly, have a hard time defining who they are, what they want to be. They want to be A to Z, and nobody can do that well.
Right.
I'll never forget, we bought a business, and it was signage. They built any kind of sign you could think of, electronic, electrical, but they also sold for sale signs for realtors. And I mean, down at the opposite end, just a piece of wood or wood product and painted. And when we came in, that was one of the things we tried to narrow down to what they were really good at. And because they were trying to be everything to everybody. And it cost you, I mean, when you write an order up and processing that for sale sign, in some ways cost you as much time and effort as a 20 by 20 lighted sign.
Right.
It's really interesting, and I applaud that you have focused your market. It leads you to success, in my opinion. Let's switch gears for just a minute. Now, you mentioned, I think, or alluded to earlier about the current business environment. What do you see as you look towards the balance of 2025 and 26 and 27, maybe, 3 years out? What do you see as the general business environment, economically or otherwise?
Well, I mean, it's hard to see like how fast this economy is going to turn around, but I definitely see with the great connections that I'm making and meeting, nothing but going up, going to the top. I picked up, and I didn't even know it. I got a referral from the Woodlands Waterway Motel right here in the Woodlands, and Marriott. And I ended up picking up the parents of the CEO of ExxonMobil.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, wow, how huge is that? And I actually gave them my book, not even knowing that they were his parents. And that's pretty amazing. So they said that they're going to get me some business. So I just claiming it and I believe it. just by making the right connection. And the guy that booked was named Ronnie. He said that his girlfriend works at KeyBank as well downtown, and they're going to put me as a vendor and tell me if I'm missing anything, what all do I need to make that connection and be their vendor, transportation vendor,
Wow.
and get that business. And anytime they need, like an airport or my service, party bus, whatever it may be, they're going to use my company. They're really inspired by me. And so I see myself going nothing but up. I don't know how fast I'll get there. And it's not about how fast you get there, but I know the business is going to start pouring in.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit because you're a business person and you've started a business. You've had the experiences. You've had the up and down. Yes, might be just a few short years, but I'm sure, based on your personality and what you've shared with us, are a great observer of what's going on around you. If someone came to you and said, Shelly, you've been so successful, you're growing it, you're doing all the things, I would like to get into business for myself. I want to start a small business. What would you suggest to them are some of, or the business or a general area of business that they should take a good hard look at to potentially enter?
Well, definitely, I would suggest them making sure that they save up money somehow if they already have a job, because I didn't have that option. I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur. But if they know they're going to be it and they want to start business, they need to start with, got to have the financials. You got to have the money. And that's what I don't have still. And that's what I didn't have when I started. So that was my only downfall. And or I guess you would say weakness, but definitely do something that makes you happy. Don't do something that doesn't make you happy. Of course, Grant Cardone says get into real estate. You're going to make money, be successful. So if they want to get into real estate, go right ahead. But if that don't make you happy, then why do it?
Right.
You got to do something that you're going to want to wake up every day and you love going to work, but I don't call it work. If you're working for yourself, you love going in every day. It's not a job. It's your career. It's your life. It's your passion, So it's not a job. It's not a job anymore. But I tell people you can be job, just over broke working for someone else, or you can be just over broke for yourself, making a brighter future. And that's what I'm doing.
You make a lot of sense, and I think that'd be wonderful advice to people, as they analyze it. One of the things I have found in working with people, and it was true when I was in business, but is, for example, I'll sit down and talk to anybody for up to an hour, no charge, no, maybe glass iced tea or something, but about what they're thinking about going into business and why, and ask a number of questions. And one of the things I feel is critical, but often gets overlooked is, okay, who are you? You being the prospective business owner, and what are your characteristics? What are your strengths and weaknesses? And what is your objective? What is your goal? What do you want out of this? My father was famous for saying a small business owner is just, it's a job, and that's what it's about. You own a job for yourself.
Right.
And I used to kid him back. I said, well, you got a hell of a job. I know
Right.
you take a minimal paycheck, you and my uncle, but relatively speaking, but you could be taking one much, much bigger, and you do through profits. But I think it's a lot to give up if it's just going to be a job, and a lot of risk and a lot of extra pressure that you can go get, as you say, a job somewhere else.
Right.
But I find that people are talking about going into a business that when I analyze their character, and I'm not a psychologist, but just kind of look at them, ask them a few questions, they really aren't fit for it. It's not a good fit.
Right.
Nobody's fault. It's just not a good fit. I had a guy one time that it came out in the conversation more than once. He didn't really like dealing with people, but yet in the business he was going to choose, customer service was going to be right up at the top. And I pointed this out to him, and he kind of, the light bulb went on. He said, well, you're right. Maybe I don't need to go into. I said, find something that fits your personality.
Right.
What's your experience with that?
Well, definitely, Just like I said, I didn't know I was going to be a business owner, but just doing it and just seeing everything that I'm doing and the lives that I'm changing and impacting and making people happy and getting that positive feedback and customer service, it just made me believe more in myself. It's all about self-esteem and mindset, and that's what Grant Cardone said. I had to change my mindset because I even beaten myself up along the way. And they say we're our worst critic, and you can talk down like, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. Never going to win. I'm never going to get there. But all that is negativity bringing you down. And finally, I had to give it up. And I believe in myself. My self-confidence has just grown like drastically. I believe in myself like no other now. No matter, just like I said, how fast I get there, I know I'm going to get there. And I'll mention one thing that did save my life. Through this, me going from like 15 to 25,000 down to zero through this economic, the election year. I didn't realize that this happens and it's going to happen every 4 years. Someone saved my life due to my hard work. He saved my life, saved my business. I would be on the street. I would be out of business. But God knew that I deserved more and that I'm inspiring, that I became an author, that I needed to keep going. And now my second book is going to be out there soon on Amazon. And just keep writing books and keep inspiring and then be an inspirational speaker someday. He saved my life and he's paying for where I live. He's paying my bills. He's doing everything for me, supporting me, my drive. His whole family, I inspired, his kids, his wife, his company. I picked them up and I work for them basically every day. Anytime they need me, they call me. I'm there 100% because he's there 100% for me.
Right. That's a great story.
Yes.
That's a great story. Kind of winding things down. One of the questions I get asked most often by potential entrepreneurs or people that are in business, even those that have been in it for a while, is what is the secret to balancing my life between my family and my business? In other words, having another life or having time. It's an age-old issue.
It
It's,
is.
what is your secret or what advice could you offer those people?
Well, I definitely, I learned that along my ways too, because before you're just grinding, focusing just on you and just self-centered, just on you and your business. That's all you care about. I mean, you're just pushing and you're grinding yourself into the dirt because you'll do that where you're just overworked, overburned, burned out, networked, and just like I said, you just start bringing yourself down and just drowning yourself into the ground. And I'm all about self-care. So you got to have that self-care. And that's what I stress. And I post it on LinkedIn, social media. Self-care is mandatory. It's a mandatory part of my life now. You got to have self-care, which is time with your family. You got to have a personal life and a work life. So yeah, you got to have your business. You got to work hard. You got to take care of your customers. You got to get your name out there, visibility. But at the same time, you got to have a pamper day. You got to have a personal day, personal moment. Whatever it is that you like to do. Like for me, just even getting your pedicure, go get a massage, go to dinner and have a margarita and some dinner with a friend. Definitely stay in touch with my best friends, stay connected with them because they support me 100%. So definitely you got to make a personal life and make time for family and friends, the ones that you love, but also some of them are the ones that are out there. You're networking with the business as well. Cause I have so many positive, strong entrepreneurial bonds and friendships that I've made out there and grown.
Yeah. It's a critical issue. It gets talked about a lot and it's been written about a lot. It takes some time to master it.
Yes, definitely.
And have it because we truly, all of us have partners in our businesses. We're not on our own. In your case, a support group of friends and so on and so forth. In some cases, a spouse and a family, traditional family. It's just, but these people are in business with you.
Right.
I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent. And so you've got to be responsive and do what you can. Because the business, if you're in a business for yourself, unless you've found great success in making money hand over fist, then the chances are there's always going to be something else to do every day.
Right.
And you can end up, as I even find myself even at the point I am, retired, quote unquote, that I'm at 11 o'clock, I'm working on something.
Right.
And I said, break, you need to quit.
You can
Lost that discipline, let me tell you.
Yeah, you can, like, I was pushing myself into the ground and just letting the negativity, the haters get me. And I almost had a stroke in April of 2023. So that was like a wake-up call. And it was a wake-up call from God that I needed to take a step back, focus on my health and my mental health through the whole journey. Because as an entrepreneur, it's a grind. It's a roller coaster. I say it's the wildest roller coaster of your life, and definitely mine, because my whole story is just extraordinary. I mean, I'm just truly blessed that I'm still here, because just like I said, this client that found me, he found my card at a car wash. He truly saved my life, because I'm not making money. I'm not bringing in business, but I'm putting myself out there. I'm not stopping, and I'm going to see people at the top, the ones that want to be there with me.
No doubt about it in my mind.
Yes.
Shelly, if people want to get in touch with you to take advantage of your services or ask you a question, or, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can contact me at my number, 832-269-3796, by call or text, and then also social media. You can find me on all of social media, ImpecableRideshare.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, which is X, YouTube. I'm on Alignable. So I'm out there. You can find me. You can email me, text me. I could even send you my digital business card.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, Shelly, I can't thank you enough for coming in and sharing your story. You've got a unique and very, very uplifting story, and thank you for sharing it with our audience this week.
My pleasure, and it was a pleasure being here and speaking with you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll close out the day with the time we have left and talk about some things I came across this week. So please stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes, on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruising Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're in the process of winding up another edition of the Weekly Business Hour. Again, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll take advantage of the posting of our video cast podcast later in the week. If you missed something, you want to re-listen, or if you would, and we'd love it, share it with someone that's in business that you feel you could help along by connecting them with folks talking about business, their ups and downs, their challenges, along with experts such as we had last week, marketing. What a wonderful guest Mr. Kotz was. Really enjoyed having him here and the information he made available to us about marketing. I want to just touch on a couple of things, one of which has been on my desk, so to speak, in the folder for a while. And it was one of the things that comes to my mind probably every day, which I'm probably also overthinking it, but is about the obstacles that small business is facing now. I mean, we know about tariffs if we watch the news or read a newspaper, and we know more than we probably ever wanted to know if we read the complete articles. But there are other things that are particularly, some exist all the time, regardless of the economy or who's president or what's going on in the rest of the world, all those external kind of issues to our business. And I want to touch on some of them. Some of them can be specific due to the times, which there's a lot of uncertainty right now, but give you a chance to think about some things. First of all, one of the biggest obstacles, I think, is if you decide to grow your business, just like the guest we had today, Shelly Castle. She is obviously in the mode to grow her business and reaching for that success. And so she's constantly looking at that. And we talked about quality, and that can be a challenge. I don't know that I've ever heard anybody really talk about it, but that's balancing your growth of your business, balancing it with maintaining the quality level that you've set for the business. Okay, some people want a very high quality type business, as Shelly shared with us in her rideshare programs. Others go with less quality, lower price. They're in a certain niche in the market, and that's great. But balancing this with your growth objectives, very hard to grow at certain rates and maintain your quality. And it's all dependent on your industry, on yourself, your workforce. I mean, you're in the driver's seat to make these decisions. And oftentimes we'll hear or read about businesses that really are growing and have had great years, the last year, the 2 years, 3 years, but their quality's slipping. And there really is no reason for that. That could mean many things, but in particular, perhaps they set the bar too high and look for double-digit increases in sales revenue, and they couldn't keep up with it. The guys in the back, the guys who make it happen, that service or build the product, just couldn't keep up with it. And there are a lot of reasons for that. So it's your workforce and what condition it's in and how are they doing their jobs, et cetera, et cetera. But the key is for you, in my opinion, as an owner or manager, to make sure you're keeping the quality standard you set, to as long as keeping it where it's balanced, if you will, with the growth rate that you're experiencing and hopefully have set, because you don't want it out of control. There's no doubt about it. Another thing is the lack of technology utilization. I hear more about this lately than probably any other topic other than tariffs, I guess. And it's related to artificial intelligence, AI. It's in so many conversations. And so many people, including myself, really don't know what it is, what the impact is or can be. There are, as usual, some folks at the head of the pack that are bringing it into their businesses and finding utilization of AI can really make a difference in their business. It can cut cost. It can make people more efficient, help them. It's a tool. But small businesses are not famous in general for adapting to new technology. And this is a general challenge. It really is. It's an obstacle. And I'm not advocating any way, shape, or form that you go out and jump into AI. But there's a lot of information and a lot of people out there that are using it in various forms. And it's different for you than it would be even a competitor of what you can best apply it to or what to apply it first in your business. Get your feet wet, but be sure you keep moving, because the successful businesses at all sizes, small, medium, and large, are, I think, one of the attributes that's going to be in common is the adaptation, or how they had adopted AI and made it a very effective, useful tool in their own business. The next one I want to touch on as we wind down is attracting and retaining talent. This used to be one of my key goals, because I grew up in a family business and we had turnover, primarily in entry-level positions where minimum wage was the guidance at that time on salaries and pay scales. And so when you hired these people in, they had no experience most of the time. You had to train them. And sometimes we did a good job in retaining them, but the turnover could exceed 100%, meaning that someone who started today won't be there a year from now. And this was true in the industry. Some people even had much higher numbers or rate of turnover than we did. And we went to work on it, and we drove that number down to around 40-some%. But it's all about retaining. It's also about doing a better job in hiring people and your hiring process. And there's a number of tools that can help you do it, but a lot of it is down to who does the hiring and their abilities to interview people, to evaluate resumes or applications, and so on and so forth. You really need to invest some time and effort into that, whether you do the interviewing yourself in a smaller business or you have someone. It's a wonderful, wonderful skill to have to be an effective recruiting and hiring individual. I made a case out of it and spent some time, went to some seminars and so on and so forth, and really studied, and I got better and better at it. So meaning that the people I recommended that got hired were the ones who stayed longer and were more effective and more successful themselves as individuals as well as for the company. So it's an obstacle, but it's one that we really, really need to spend some time as business owners making sure, based on the size of our business, that we have it down pat, whatever that looks like in your business. Finally, to close it out, long-term goals. It's one of the hardest things that a business, particularly in the planning area, will do. In fact, we do an exercise, I've mentioned it once or twice on the show, where we challenge a business. I do this on one-on-ones that I do. Challenge people and say, well, how long do you project you're going to be in this business? And people have great answers. Well, I want to retire in 10 years because my children will be up and gone, and if we're fortunate, we'll have a grandchild or maybe more. What they get that, okay? But you got to analyze how much money do you want to take away from the business? Are you going to transfer the business to family? Is that your goal? And so what is your plan to do that? How's that going to look? How's it going to work? Is the person or persons you're going to transfer, are they interested? Are you training them? Are they in a program where they learn all the parts and pieces and obtain the skills they need to run the business, to own the business? A lot of questions. And when I get into a situation and start talking about that, even with seasoned business owners, it's amazing how many of them start to kind of get nervous and shift around in the chair, and they've not thought about these things, or they thought about them and they just can't commit. So make it a job to decide when you're going to leave the business, when you want to leave the business. And there could be an intervening situation such as an accident, a death, or a sickness. All kinds of things can happen. But if you had the choice, when would you leave? How much do you want to walk away with? And finally, who's your buyer? Are you transferring it to someone in the business? Or are you selling it or planning to sell it to strategic buyers, or just a buyer that wants to own a business? They're two very, very different things. And you make decisions all along the way from today to the day you want to sell the business that reflect on all three of those general elements. So it's really on you to make sure you've got that long-term plan in place and review it from time to time to make sure you're on target. Well, I appreciate everyone who's taken the time to stay and listen to our program today. Again, I'd love to hear from you. If you've got comments, you got a business question, I like to receive those. So please take the opportunity. Email me, rick@irlonestar.com. It's very simple, and I do respond. We might even respond, as I mentioned earlier, on the air itself. Thank you again to Shelly Castle, the owner of Impeccable Rideshare, for sharing her wonderful story. And put a note on your calendar to join us again next Monday, right here on irlonestar.com at 11 a.m. And until next week, as I always highly recommend, stay engaged and always keep your focus on what counts in your business. Thanks.